Hello everyone, welcome into Deacon's NFL Talk. I'm your host Deacon. Welcome back to another episode on the channel, episode 58. And this week we have just 5 NFL topics this week. Yes, we are returning after a week break, so it's good to be back. We have 5 NFL topics to get into. After that, we only have 2 quick hits, so I should easily run right through the timer without any issues. After that, we have a few roster moves. More signings than cuts, but there's still a good amount. It won't take too long. After that, we have one reaction to get into, and it's a highlight of Travis Hunter intercepting the ball in practice, which is a really, really cool interception, I will add. After that, we'll have the quiz and a question of the week, and that will sum up episode 58 of Deacon's NFL Talk. All right, everyone, we're going to jump right into this one. So, as always, we are starting off with the main topic, and that main topic is none other than about Aaron Rodgers and this whole Steelers situation. Because in case you did not know, Aaron Rodgers finally made up his mind, finally decided to sign with the Steelers. So, Aaron Rodgers is signing a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe this happened like Thursday afternoon. So not too long ago. I mean, it's been like weeks, and like it feels like it's been months actually, about all this Aaron Rodgers and Steelers speculation. He finally made up his mind. I mean, we were starting at like potentially getting at the idea of him going to the Vikings, and obviously that wasn't even close to happening. Then it was like maybe the Giants, maybe the Steelers, and then there's like pictures of him at the beach, thinking about whether he was going to retire or keep playing. So it was this whole thing that just kept going on forever. It feels like it's been a long time, and really, it hasn't been anything too crazy. But the 3 teams I did mention, the Steelers obviously is who he ended up signing with. And there were some people saying, like, maybe since the Steelers traded George Pickens that, Rodgers isn't as intrigued anymore going to Pittsburgh now that, all he has is DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin, really. And throw Pat Freiermuth in there. He's a solid target as well. But, yeah, the Steelers, the Giants, obviously, because before they signed Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers was a pretty solid, pretty big favorite to end up in New York. I would say he was probably number 2 on the list at that time. And then number 3 was the Vikings. Only because that's what Brett Favre did, and that's what apparently every Packers quarterback goes through. They go through Green Bay, New York, and then Minnesota. The Vikings were never even close to interested. But yeah, he ended up with the Steelers. The Steelers' original plan was to keep Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. Obviously, both ended up going to New York teams. Wilson to the Giants and Fields to the Jets. So once that happened, everyone was kind of like, once the Steelers lost Fields and Wilson, everyone was like pointing fingers at Aaron Rodgers, like, oh, he's probably going to be he's going to be the guy that ends up going there. Even like while Rodgers wasn't sure, because I mean, the Steelers, if I were the Steelers, I would have given up a long time ago. They're like, just these past few weeks, there's people talking about maybe Kirk Cousins ending up in a Pittsburgh uniform, which would be interesting. But I also wouldn't have been shocked by it if Rodgers retired, because I think if the Steelers are my team, all right, and if I just jump right into whoever makes the call, who's quarterback in Week 1, because the Steelers, I mean, they now have Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard, which isn't the greatest quarterback room ever. I mean, some people are saying that now the Steelers are going to go crazy, and now Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf is going to be a really good quarterback wide receiver duo. Like, there are some people that are like overhyping the Steelers after this. Like, did anybody watch Aaron Rodgers last year? Because he played terrible. Okay, it wasn't all on Rodgers. I mean, the Rodgers Garrett Wilson that duo, that quarterback wide receiver duo was solid. DK Metcalf, I would take Garrett Wilson over DK Metcalf any day. Not just because of the issues or whatever, like who knows, whatever like the anger issues or the crash outs. But that's not why I'm taking him over. I just think Garrett Wilson is the better player in my opinion. So I don't think that the Steelers are going to be one of those 8-9, 9-8 teams. They're probably going to make the playoffs again somehow. Because, I mean, you have Mike Tomlin and then the Steelers. But, I mean, before the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, I was pounding the table for Will Howard. And I still am. I still think Will Howard should be the guy in Pittsburgh. I think he will be the guy in Pittsburgh for years to come. Once Rodgers leaves after this season, probably once he retires, actually. And then maybe Mason Rudolph, he probably won't re-sign after 2 years or so. So, even with Rodgers added to the roster, I still think the Steelers should go with Will Howard. I don't know how good he's doing in training camp, but training camp doesn't matter. Because guess what? It's practice. Practice doesn't matter. Like, this is the time of year where football fans are so bored. They see all these articles or all these videos about these players practicing and practice, and they look really, really good, and everyone's all pumped about them. And then they end up just being terrible. So that I've kind of learned my lesson on that. Like, don't overhype people in practice because really they might not even be that good at all. So I don't really like to overhype a whole bunch of people when the only thing they're showing is playing good in practice. So, but I would definitely take Will Howard over any quarterback in the Steelers quarterback room. But in 2024, Rodgers recorded career lows in passer rating. That was 90.5, and also recorded a career low with 12 games lost. So really, just this past season wasn't great. I mean, I'm not blaming it all on Rodgers. I mean, some of it was some of his teammates, and just overall, the Jets organization is not good whatsoever. So all the blame is not going to be on him. But I do not think that the Steelers are just going to be this 11 to 12 win team out of nowhere. I don't think it's going to happen. I think people are overhyping them about that. It's not going to happen. Okay? It's just not. Anyway, we're going to go on to the second topic. Lions center Frank Ragnow retires after 7 seasons in the league. This happened about Monday or so. So it's been almost a week. This kind of happened out of nowhere, really. I mean, no one really expected this to happen. The reasoning for his retirement is because of health concerns. So that should always be the number one priority, whether you're contemplating retirement. In an Instagram post, he said that, I quote, "I've tried to convince myself that I'm feeling good, but I'm not, and it's time to prioritize my health and my family's future." So I like what he did there. I know because it's easier said than done for people to retire. I mean, it's way easier said than done. I'm not a football player, so I can't say a whole lot. There's a reason I'm not, but I can only because I love the sport. I love the sport as much as any other NFL fan in the world out there. It's a great sport, and I can imagine like what it's like. Whether you're saying like, I can just see the kind of shoes that he's in right now, and it's a tough decision because I mean, he's a lot better at football than me. He probably likes the sport a lot more than me. I mean, he grew up with it. But Ragnow was the 20th overall pick in the 2018 draft. He spent his entire 7-year career in Detroit. It was a really good one as well. I mean, the Lions developed one of the best offensive lines in the league. Him, Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, the list goes on and on. I mean, a bunch of studs all over that line, and that's really who the Lions are. They're really just a dominant offensive line. Unfortunately, it was a little bit disappointing to see them go in the playoffs as early as they did. I wanted the Lions to win the whole thing. Unfortunately, it never happened. But Ragnow earned second-team All-Pro honors 3 times and was named to 4 different Pro Bowls. Outstanding career. One of the best centers in the league. I think so. He'll go down as one of the best Lions players in that franchise history. I would not be shocked if at some point in a few years from now they put him in the Ring of Honor. It'll probably be a little while till that happens. So happy retirement, Frank Ragnow, and wish you the best for what's next to come in life. We're going to go into the third topic. Saquon Barkley is going to be featured on the Madden NFL 26 cover. Here we go again. It's that time of year where, all this talk about the Madden curse, and is it real? Is it fake? We will find out. I feel like this is the year Because obviously we all know what happened last year. It was Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey missed like most of the year. He played like what, 2 to 4 games, something like that. So it hit him obviously. But the game is set to be released on August 14th this year. So, yeah, just save up for however much it is. I'm not sure how much that normally is. I'm not sure. I feel like people are like playing it before it's even released. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, is the Madden curse real? If I had to tell you, I would probably say yes and no because it hasn't happened to every player, really. Uh, Sometimes it's just like a one game thing. Sometimes it doesn't happen at all to some players. Sometimes it absolutely wipes the player out. I mean, we've seen what happened to Barry Sanders or whatever. Like he retired early or something. I feel like something like that. I can't quite remember. But yeah, I think it's a tricky question because, like I said, it doesn't happen to everybody. I have seen that running backs, it hits running backs pretty hard. So we'll see how Saquon does after this year. Speaking of CMC and Barkley, Barkley will become the second running back in a row to be featured on the Madden cover. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey was on it last season. Yeah, Barkley was a big part of the Eagles' Super Bowl run, leading the NFL with 345 carries for 2,005 yards and also 13 touchdowns on the ground. I'm going to pull up the picture of the Madden cover. I guess I didn't really get into the detail about that. But here's the Madden cover right here. Saquon Barkley, backwards hurdle. I think this is the right choice. Like, there's some people saying, like, oh, it should be Jamar Chase. Oh, it should be Joe Burrow. It should be this guy. Basically, they were talking about, like, everybody. Like, obviously, a lot of people have different opinions on it. I think this is the way to go because we've never seen a play like this before. So I think this was the right way to go. I'm sorry to any Philly fans out there if this ends up like if this whole cover curse thing actually ends up hitting Saquon. But that's why every single offseason when they're talking about the Madden cover and they're talking about Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, I'm just like, please don't be Jamar or Joe. I hope for that every single year. This is the second year in a row where I've really been like that. So 2 years in a row, it's going. I have a feeling next year it's gonna be one of them. I don't want it to, but yeah, this is a really sweet Madden cover. I do want to pull up a clip of the making of it. I don't know. Do I have it? Let me see. It's really cool. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, I think because I've heard that there's a lot of new features like that people wanted for Madden, and like they say it's gonna be really good. Yeah, here's the clip right here. This what went into the making of this. It's really cool actually. So I'm gonna play it. There's no music or anything, but if you see here, jumps over backwards. He kind of floats in the air. You can't really see it right here, but I think there's some sort of wire that he's attached to. I don't know. He kind of floats. Yeah, I think he's attached to some. I remember I saw a video of much better quality, and I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. But yeah, really nice Madden cover. I think it's really good. I mean, if you were to like rank Madden covers, I would say it's probably up there. Back to Saquon though, he was named Offensive Player of the Year during the NFL honors and was also an MVP candidate. I think he probably should have been over Josh Allen for sure. I mean, I said this about last year about Christian McCaffrey. Like running backs, like we don't see running backs play like this, like Saquon did this year and like Christian McCaffrey did last year, especially with how the league is like pass heavy now. So I think anytime a running back has this kind of season, I mean, especially if he broke what's his name? Broke the rushing record. If he broke that, I think he definitely should have been an MVP. Lamar should have been it if it wasn't going to be Saquon. But I will say, though, Barkley did say he could retire as early as next season. He said when he does, it'll come out of nowhere. So that is something for Eagles fans to look out for. When I looked at an article about that, I was like, that caught me off guard. Like, I had no clue that was even. Yeah, I had no idea that was even a thing, or that was even contemplating that. But yes, that's the Madden cover. We're gonna go on to the third topic. Yep, third topic. Yep. All right, Ravens signing Rashod Bateman to a 3-year, $36.75 million extension. The deal includes $20 million guaranteed, and his deal will last through the 2029 season. So obviously, I feel like I've talked a lot about this before, and I might be throwing shade at the Ravens receivers. I've always said that the Ravens don't have a true receiver one, and they really don't, other than Zay Flowers. I think he's a receiver two on any other team. But Rashod Bateman, although he isn't a receiver one, he's a very reliable receiver. I think he's a really reliable and consistent target. I think what is he, receiver two? I think he would have been a receiver three on any other team. But, I mean, it's kind of like how Tyler Boyd was on the Bengals. Like, Tyler Boyd is a really good wide receiver three. I think if you put Rashod Bateman on the Bengals, he'd be a really good wide receiver three. I think if you put him on the Eagles, he'd be a really good wide receiver three. So just stuff like that. I think Rashod Bateman is a really reliable target. I have nothing against him. I mean, he signed a 2-year, $12.87 million deal last offseason. And after that, he had his most productive season, recording 45 catches, 756 yards, and 9 touchdowns. So ultimately, they wanted to keep him longer and a more expensive deal. Baltimore's receiving core consists of Zay Flowers, Rashod Bateman, and newer acquisition DeAndre Hopkins. I've heard really good things about DeAndre Hopkins actually in practice. That's the key word, in practice. So who knows? He might actually come out and suck this year. But it's not the best receiving core, but a good one for Lamar. I mean, when you have Lamar Jackson, you don't like when you have Lamar. It's kind of like this thing. Like Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. Even though they don't have the top-tier receivers, they still win a lot. Josh Allen doesn't have a top-tier wide receiver, and they still make the playoffs and are Super Bowl contenders. Same for the Chiefs. They don't have, like, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. I would say Xavier Worthy might be a receiver two on most teams. Same for Rashee Rice, but they're a lot better than what the Bills and Ravens have. But really, all you need is a good quarterback and a good defense, and you'll be fine, which I wish that's what the Bengals had. We have a good quarterback, but our defense kind of sucks. Bateman's quarterback, Lamar Jackson, has reportedly started contract talks. I did see that on an article from CBS Sports a while ago. Let me see if I can find this. Something like they started the gist of it. Let me see. I think I got it right here. Ravens to extend Lamar Jackson, ? The GM says the team has had introductory contract talks with the two-time NFL MVP. Don't be surprised if he comes out of nowhere and makes a $700 million deal. I'm kidding, but I'm just saying he's going to make a lot of money this year. If it's not this year, it's next year for sure. All right, last topic. Anthony Richardson will not participate in minicamp with a shoulder injury. Here we go again. So this is not the last time. This is not the first time I've talked about Anthony Richardson. In fact, I love covering his story. Like I just love covering covering the bench, like when he got benched. I don't know why. I just like to cover the story of Anthony Richardson. It's been a long journey. I'm hoping, I think this guy is definitely boomer bust. Right now, he's leaning towards being a bust. But I'm telling you, if this guy can figure it out with his accuracy problems, his injury history, he's going to be a top 10 quarterback if he can figure it out. I did see from an email from CBS Sports that he's out indefinitely. I don't know if that's true or not. No one else has said this, so don't quote me on that. It said let me pull it. I'm going to pull it up here. Not on screen. But let me see, where is it at? I think it's because it said, I was confused for a second. I don't know if this is right or wrong. I'm not calling them out or anything, but it says I quote, Colts Anthony, not from anybody, but this is literally what the thing says. Colts Anthony Richardson sidelined indefinitely with a shoulder injury. I do not know if this is true. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But if he is out indefinitely, that's going to be a big problem for the Colts. There's no official timetable for his return. Colts head coach Shane Steichen said he hopes for Richardson to return to training camp at some point. I quote, at some point. Former Giants and Vikings quarterback Daniel Jones will take first-team reps in place of Richardson. So, I mean, yeah. Obviously, we all know that Richardson played 4 games in his rookie year, then got his shoulder injured. The next year, he was not playing great, got benched, replaced by Joe Flacco, then came back onto the field and played. And now he aggravated that shoulder injury he suffered in his rookie season. He's had another injury. I can't quite remember what it was. But it's just been a really bad first 4 years for him. And I really hope he plays to his potential. Because if you guys don't watch my shorts, I'd rank this and that. But last offseason, I believe I ranked my top 10 or top 8 quarterbacks going into 2024. And I had Richardson at 7 because I thought he had really high potential. I thought he could be the guy for the Colts. Unfortunately, that never happened. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. If he does come back to training camp or whatever at some point, he will compete for the starting job once he returns healthy. So I hope he does return healthy. I mean, I think I can definitely see him being a franchise guy at some point. We'll just see when that is or if it'll even ever happen. But yes, that is all the NFL news for this week. We're going to go on to quick hits. Just 2 topics, so this should be a breeze. We're going to pull up the timer, a 2-minute timer, and we're going to start right now. Corner Ronald Darby retires from the NFL after 10 seasons. Darby signed a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with the Texans in March, but will not play it down for them at all this year. Darby played for the Bills, Eagles, Commanders, Broncos, Ravens, and Jaguars, not including the Texans because he never played a snap. Darby generated 447 tackles, 106 pass deflections, and 8 interceptions. Last one, the Chiefs and Royals, the baseball team, gets approval to stay in Kansas City. The Chiefs lobbyist, Rich Abacon, I believe I got that right, says that the Chiefs stay in Missouri. They likely plan to renovate their stadium, which would cost roughly $1.15 billion, $1.15 billion to do so, and would likely start in 2027 or 2028, and it would be a 3-year project. All right, we had like 1 minute and 5 seconds left. So, like I said, it was a breeze. No big deal. Yeah, we're going to go on to roster moves, starting off with signings. Falcons signed defensive back Josh Thompson. Lions signed offensive lineman Tristan Colon. Eagles signed offensive lineman Marcus Tate and wide receiver Ife Aday. I believe Aday. I don't know. Titans signed running back Ty Davis Price. Broncos signed tight end Caden Priscorn. Jaguars signed wide receiver Trenton Irwin. Wide receiver Dwayne Smoot, and linebacker Dennis Gardeck. 49ers signed wide receiver Malik Knowles. Seahawks signed tight end Mitch Van Vuren. Browns signed wide receiver Jalen Gill. Chargers signed outside linebacker Bud Dupree. Dolphins signed defensive tackle Ben Still. And the Steelers signed defensive back Quindell Johnson. Sorry for pronouncing any of those names wrong. You can get mad at me and call me out in the comments if you want. Falcons cut defensive back Benny Sapp III. Lions cut corner Gavin Holmes and defensive back Devod Wilson, I believe. Packers cut wide receiver Jaden Jank, defensive end Jeremiah Martin. Steelers cut defensive end Blake Mangelson, defensive back Joshua Bledsoe. I wonder if he's related to Drew Bledsoe. That'd be pretty cool. Titans cut running back Micah Bernard. Broncos cut tight end Cole Fotheringham. Jaguars cut wide receiver David White, guard Cooper Hodges, and running back Keelan Robinson. 49ers cut offensive lineman Nicholas Pete Frere. I don't know if I got that right. Sorry if I didn't. This is a confusing one. Last name at least. Browns cut kicker Andre Smith, I believe. Szmyt. Smith. I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced. Seahawks cut wide receiver Nate McCollum. That's all for signings and cuts, or that's all for roster moves. Now we're going to get to reactions. It's a really, really short clip of this Travis Hunter interception. It's like 20 seconds long. So I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to give credit to the Jaguars because this is their video or whatever you want to call it. So he is playing defensive back. I'm just going to stop talking and I'll play it right here. The ball's thrown, tips it, and then falls right into his hands and grabs it. I just don't know how does he do this stuff? I mean, he's so athletic and, like, athletically gifted as well that, like, it's just incredible how he does that. Incredible. But, yeah, what an interception. At this point, I'm just taking any sport that I can get right now or any highlights I can get right now. I mean, obviously, we all know the NBA Finals is going on. I'm telling you, dude, speaking of the Finals, that Pacers Thunder Game 1, I'm telling you, don't be surprised if the Pacers win it all. I have the Pacers winning the whole thing. I think they can do it. Let me know in the comments who you guys think is going to win the NBA Finals. I think it's going to be the Pacers. It's a long shot, but hey, who doesn't love an underdog story? Who doesn't? As a Bengals fan, I know what that's like, being the underdog. No one expects you to do good in the season, and all of a sudden you go make a run to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, the Bengals never won it, but I hope the Pacers do. Even though they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, I don't love the Cavaliers. I'll watch them because they're close to Cincinnati. But anyway, got a little bit out of context there. Off topic, I should say. But we're going to go to the quiz. And remember when I said that I would not fail a quiz until the season started on September 5th or 4th? Can't remember. But, unfortunately, you guys got it. You guys got this one. Unfortunately, the streak is over, and I don't know what the next streak is going to be, too. What U.S. state has produced the most NFL Hall of Famers? Florida, California, Pennsylvania, or Texas? Excuse me. California was the correct answer. Texas, 17%. Pennsylvania, 17%. Florida, 30%. And California, 35%. I feel like that was an obvious one. Like after the first few hours, and I saw people were getting this one like easily, I was like, oh, that was a mistake. Oh man, my throat is getting dry. Anyway, we're gonna go on to the question of the week. Will the Cowboys extend Micah Parsons? This one is a landslide. I'm not really surprised it is, because I feel like it will get done at some point. Nobody just knows when. I mean, originally, he wasn't participating in OTAs or whatever, and now he is, I guess. I don't know. It's this whole thing. I guess Cowboys fans probably know more than me, but there really hasn't been much about Micah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, man. If I had to predict what'll happen, like when it'll happen, I would say if it's not this offseason, it's definitely next offseason. I will say that. I would say it'll get done in July. I'll say that. Okay. I need to get out of here. My throat is drying up like crazy. We'll see if I can pull off the ending. Oh my goodness. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. My voice is getting lost as well. If you enjoyed, hit the like, the subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified of every single upload this channel makes. I won't even tell you guys. Just go watch last week's episode. I'll just say that. Anyway, sorry about that ending, but this was Deacon. Have a great rest of your week.